You know, I was born into religion. I bet you were too. And like most things we inherit, this molded my perception into a lens where I could observe the ideas of ritual and kinship. But the principles lacking in the exoteric doctrines left me confused of self, yet conscious. The abyss of depression which followed led me down a path to the spiritual and opened my mind to the supernatural. I left. Wandering is not the term, but the path which preceded left me more of an agnostic than a believer. I filled the void with knowledge, and I became astute and analytical, a conqueror of obstacles. This, however, left me vulnerable to impulse and foregoing reason. And by grace, I was spared from falling too deeply into emotion. Seeing these in myself, I began fashioning reins. So again, I left, and this time with a more open mind. The symbols and rituals I observed in church as a youth never really left my mind. Seeing a cross, going to a wedding, all that kept my mind intrigued as to the ideas contained within. Why do laymen act out these rituals and adhere to their principles when they do not themselves profess the faith? What's the deal? What's the allure? Well, the occult opened my eyes to the symbols of the world through the footsteps of my predecessors. It gave me an abstract mind and showed me the wonders of the mind and body. Cynicism kicked in, which left me more paranoid than at peace. So I left, and this time with another lens, that of the madman, and walks philosophy. I'm not going to get really specific, but philosophy checked me. It forced me to slow down and fashion these lenses into a kaleidoscope, and this allowed me to look through the eyes of another, where before I just projected archetypes, that tricky devil. And of course now I questioned everything, especially the authority which clouded my judgments and the judgment of so many others with diluted doctrines and viscous dogma. Now I felt like a protector, noble and stoic. But again, it seemed like my spiritual initiation was incomplete. Now this lens led me down senseless battles and arguments out of principle and not necessity. It obviously became tiresome, and philosophy provided the compass and square with which I began to fashion the bricks of my foundation. But material, if I wanted a structure, I would have to find the material elsewhere. So I left, again with the knowledge that I lacked understanding. And now I sit in silence, contemplation, and all those lives that came and went. What was that craving that could never be fed? And did I miss something? The images and thoughts echoing in my head, steady breath until, as if I had been running a marathon. I felt the pounding of my heart in the pit of my stomach, and then at the bottom of my ribs, then in my chest, then in my neck, and then I noticed a water droplet dripping down the screen of my porch, and I couldn't help but laugh. A heartbeat. the end of this ritual, the quest or path, is like a maze. I had adventured and attained, and I was also trapped in my mind. Fully realized at that, so that illusion, it's perfect. The final seal to break was one I had placed on myself in the beginning. You know, when you're dancing in heaven and battling hell, it has a way of making you forget your mortality, humanity. I don't know. But I am a witness, and I was searching for what I am: a craftsman, philosopher, monk, fashioning their very own lapis. I got a couple designs. The other one I'm still working on. That's more of a dart thrower. I read about something interesting.